Hey, welcome to Sports and Politics with T. I'm your host, Tanya, and tonight we have made it back to Thursday, guys. Listen, I hope everybody's had a great week. We are already mid-July, guys. I'm telling you, this month of July is flying so fast. And I'm hoping that the weather is going to be good because I'm telling you, it has been raining just about every single day this week. But you know what? I'm glad for the rain because it has been very hot. So we got to have a little bit of a balance, okay? But anyway, again, I hope everybody's had a great weekend and a great week. Tonight, we are going to talk about the Epstein files, okay? Because everybody has been talking about this, and a lot of alleged material is coming through. What people are saying is that Donald Trump may be affiliated allegedly in some way. Now, we don't know if it's true or not, but we are going to listen in on two segments. One from The View, which is going to talk about some things, and as far as the Maga base, how some of the Maga base are very upset that Trump is actually turning on them now because of it. And also, we're also going to listen in on his niece. Her name is Mary Trump. She's going to be talking some things too. And, you know, I tell people when your family is testifying against you or saying things against you that's not in your favor, I mean, if they're not even for you, it's going to be hard to kind of come back from that, you know? But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started with the first topic at hand. Again, this is coming from The View. Let's listen in on this clip. Once it's over, I'll dissect this video and I'll let you know exactly how I feel about this whole thing with Epstein and President Donald Trump.
On your own website by saying, this is what I want. With Wix, you can.
You know what? I'm just going to stop right there for just a second and just kind of chime into some of the things they were talking about as far as this case. You know, it is strange, you know, that they fired the head prosecutor all of a sudden. And it is strange that the other attorney just passed away mysteriously. You know, the truth is going to come out. I mean, you can't hide the truth. I don't care how much you try to, you know, cover it up. It's going to come out, you know. So even though Epstein is no longer with us, it's the fact that now, even after he's gone, we are still talking about it, which means the truth is still trying to come out. You know, some people know a lot of information and some people don't want to come forth. And, you know, I understand that, but you might as well, because it's not going to do you any good by holding those secrets, you know. And so some people say, well, you know, they got a lot to lose. Well, maybe so, you know, but at the same time, you know, it can get worse. You know, if you just go ahead and come out with it right off the bat, then, you know, maybe your sentence won't be as bad. But guess what? The longer they keep this out and the longer they drag this out, the more time they have to get more and more evidence against the person. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. I mean, so much going on, so much, you know, back and forth with, you know, the MAGA movement and Donald Trump, because now they're not getting along. You heard what Whoopi Goldberg said. Now the farmers are upset. His base is upset. Sonny Hostin was saying that as well. I mean, you know, because number one, he's not doing a good job as president. And now this case is going to make things even worse, because now you're talking about sex rings with children and just, not to mention Donald Trump has already been convicted of 39 felonies. So, you know, it doesn't make the case look good. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on that. But let's just keep going and then we'll go on to the next subject at hand. All right, guys, so you can see from the View what their outtake on this. I mean, this is going to get messy. This is really going to open up another can of worms. And, you know, his poll numbers are going way down already. And this case is not going to help it at all. Okay, so, but anyway, let's go on to the second thing. We're going to listen in on Mary Trump. Now, Mary Trump is the niece of Donald Trump. And come to find out, she's got a lot of information to disclose with Katie Couric, who's interviewing her right now. Let's listen in on this. We're going to break this video down once it's over.
Many parts of Maga seem quite fixated on this. I would just love to hear your reaction to the whole damn thing.
Yeah, well, the whole damn thing is fascinating, quite frankly, for many reasons. But let's start with what, I don't know if it's the most obvious one, but it's the most obvious one to me. Donald is somebody who has lived his entire life with complete impunity. Like, he's been able to get away with everything. And he thinks it's because he's a genius, right? He thinks it's because he's so all-powerful that he can manipulate people to do whatever he wants them to do. But the truth of the matter is, it's because he's been enabled his whole life by people like my grandfather and others. And now, most recently, of course, it's been the Republican Party and, of course, his followers. What he doesn't understand is that he can't turn off the switch. Now, I understand why he would think that, because, again, he has gotten away with everything pretty much. But sometimes when you promise people something that means a lot to them, and in this case, it's, I'm going to release the Epstein file because all of the people in it are just pedophiles and they're the worst among us, and it's going to implicate people at the highest levels of the Democratic Party. And people care about that, and they really, really believe you. And then on a dime, when you actually are in a position of power, when you actually do have the authority to release that information, and you are in charge, you have your handpicked people in key positions to make that happen, and then all of a sudden there's nothing to see or hear move along, it isn't going to fly. And it is kind of fascinating that is this issue. But I think he does not know how to process it at all, because unbelievably, for those of us who believe in accountability and who believe he's done horrible things for decades now, he cannot process the fact that he doesn't control this.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. She said he's been doing horrible things for decades now. This is his niece, guys. Okay, this is Mary Trump. His niece is saying this about President Donald Trump. Her uncle. I mean, don't take my word for it. This is family talking now, okay? Family is even saying, look, he's been getting away with things for decades. Okay? I had to stop there when she said that, because I was like, wow. I mean, it's not a surprise, but it's just like, your family is even speaking out against you. That's... All right, I'm sorry. I couldn't. I just had to say it. Because some people think, oh, this is the Democrats always spewing hate, or it's always CNN spewing hate. No, this is family now. Forget the news stations. Forget all the Fox News, CNBC, MSNBC, or CNN. This is family, his family, speaking against him. So I just want to go ahead and clarify that, because I know I'm going to get some comments tonight about this. So, but I wanted to go ahead and show you that I'm listening to all angles of this. Okay. But anyway, let's keep going.
It's fascinating.
And do you think that his lashing out at his supporters is just a sign of his inability to comprehend this pushback, and that's why he's kind of lashing out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's that. I think it's also it's insecurity, right? It's his understanding on some level, not consciously necessarily, but that he really has lost control of the narrative here. And we see this with in many other instances. Somebody pushes back against him, somebody stands up against him, and they're stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. They're liars. So the difference here, of course, as you say, is that it's his people now. And I think that, again, it's on the one hand, a sign of how badly he's flailing and how desperate he is. But it's also his way of trying to reassert control. Like, I think he believes that if he singles people out or singles out this group of people who is going against him and says they're stupid and he rejects them, then other followers of his are going to say, oh, wait, we can't cross Donald. That would be wrong. And I don't think that's going to work this time either.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. Do you think that they will be sort of criticized into submission? You know, Fox News and I think Charlie Kirk and other right-wing media, I think Megyn Kelly, they have sort of stepped back, and she was blaming Joe Biden for this. Charlie Kirk was saying, I'm going to get on the train and not talk about this anymore. Fox News seems to have moved on from this. So there are those who are afraid to cross him. Do you think that his supporters, and Heather Cox Richardson wrote an interesting piece, and she was talking about how he really made his way through conspiracy theories, if you think about it, with the birther thing with Barack Obama, and then, of course, saying that the election was rigged. I mean, this has been his bread and butter. So when he suddenly says, we're not, you know, there's no there, I think it does leave people wondering, well, what the hell is going on? You have been the purveyor of these conspiracy theories so often before. Why are you suddenly hands off? And I guess the question is, why do you think that that they're not putting this list out or not making the file public? I guess there are all sorts of theories, that you're hearing floating around.
Yeah, I'll start with the second question first, just because it's easier because I don't know. I think that it is very difficult for me to believe that if the information in this file had nothing to do with people close to Donald, or conversely, or at the same time, didn't implicate top Democrats, then why not release it? So either it does implicate people Donald doesn't want implicated publicly, or it doesn't implicate the people he's been promising us for a decade would be implicated, his enemies in the Democratic Party. Either way, he looks like a liar, or he looks like he doesn't know what he's talking about. So what?
And she's right. I had to stop for just a second, because my thing is why not release it? My thing is this: if you know you haven't done anything, right? You don't have nothing to hide. You don't have no skeletons in the closet. You don't have anything that can incriminate you. You should have no problem releasing it. It's just that simple. But the fact that they're taking so long to do it, and he's trying to back out of this situation, is making him look guilty. You know, I mean, I hate to say that. You know, I'd be like, yeah, go ahead and release it. Just release it. I mean, let's get this over with. What are we waiting on? You know, because again, you have nothing to hide. You have nothing that you're not affiliated with any of this stuff. And like she was saying, Mary was saying that either you're doing it because you know people, you may not be personally involved, but you know some people that are, and you don't want to incriminate them either. You know, or it's people, or it is you, or it could be both. You know, it could be everybody. You're just saying, hey, you know, because one thing I've noticed about Donald Trump, he deflects a lot. So when you ask him a question, he'll turn around and ask you the same question right back. That's psychology. You know, he's trying to answer a question with a question. So you notice that, especially with interviews, and I've watched him over and over again. If it's a question that he can't answer or it's difficult, he'll do that reverse psychology and ask you the same question. He'll answer it by asking you a question. You know, like for instance, I remember during the Black Summit that he was at, and the lady asked him a question about, I want to say, citizenship. And she just asked him, you know, what do you mean by such and such? And then he was like, well, what, you tell me what it means. You tell me what your definition of what it means. And then so it's almost like he's never going to answer the question. He's always going to rotate it or deflect and flip it so that you're on the defensive. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, let's keep going.
So alarming to me is that there are so many other people on board, like the Attorney General of the United States, the Director of the FBI. They are all fine.
And they both have contradicted those things. She said it was on her desk waiting for her to review it. Yep. Kash Patel has talked about a black book that the FBI had in its possession. So it's strange.
It's very, very strange. And again, the thing that's most concerning is that it actually does implicate people in among the most horrific crimes imaginable. And all of these people are willing just to cover it up because it's going to make their boss look bad. That's horrifying to me. And it makes us question even further what is going on with the rule of law in this country. But, as to the sort of high profile influencer people who are getting reined in, because Donald's picking up the phone and begging Charlie Kirk to keep his mouth shut. I don't actually think people are going to be reined in like your average person, your average MAGA person, your average QAnon conspiracist is going to listen to them either. They're just going to start thinking, as many people have expressed, that they're part of the deep state cover-up too. And what I'm most interested in, because I think this is something that could actually have an impact on how this plays out, is what elected Republicans in Congress decide to do here. Because they are between a rock and a hard place.
Well, they're starting to, drift away. I don't know if you can say stand up to Donald Trump, but they're starting to make noises about that, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and Mike Johnson. Kind of saying they don't agree. Now, what will they actually do about that remains to be seen, right, Mary?
Yeah, always. Words are cheap, and their words are worth nothing. But Mike Johnson has proven to be one of the most sycophanty of the sycophants. And for him to try to walk a fine line, I found that very interesting because it suggests to me that there are Republicans in his caucus who are letting him know that this isn't going away, and they have constituents that are not going to let them slide here. They have constituents who want to know the answers, and if the Republicans keep denying it, because remember, I don't know if it's been 2 times now or 3 times now, but Democrats have brought a bill or resolution up in the House. Say, hey, let's see what's in it. Show us, we deserve to know. Republicans have voted against all transparency there. That's not sustainable for them, I don't think.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can't just keep putting it on the back burner. Time is winding down, okay? And what I like what she just said, some of the MAGA people are not letting it slide either because they know. First of all, this is your leader. It's going to make you as a whole look really bad if you don't say something now. Or if you're because some of them are going to try to cover up for Donald Trump. They're going to do what they can because they don't want that to come out. Of course not. It's going to make them look bad too, So, and they know that some of them can lose their careers over this. So, which they should. That's the thing. We're talking about child sex trafficking and just all types of stuff. And I mean, see, there's a reason why Epstein isn't here anymore. So, and I'm just going to keep it at that. He wanted out, so he just checked his own self out. But see, that's the easy way out. But the ones that are still out here, the time is up. I tell anybody, just come out with it. It's going to come out anyway, so you're not doing anything by hiding, okay? You might buy a little extra time, but at the end of the day, it's going to come out, so anyway, guys, I had to go ahead and touch on this subject for tonight. I am going to let you know that this channel is getting ready to do season 2. That's right. We're going into season 2 starting August the 4th. So for the next 2 weeks, we are taking a hiatus vacation break. And we are revamping the channel like I promised, because we're doing a new style. But same topic, same format, but a different outtake. Okay, so you're still going to see me. I'm still going to do the same as far as what we've been doing. But I think you'll like the actually atmosphere a lot better, and some of the things that we're going to incorporate going into August the 4th. So not this coming week and the weekend after that. You won't see any broadcasts for the next 2 weeks. But August the 4th, we're going to start season 2. That's right. Season 2 of Sports and Politics with T. We're going to bring in more and more information from sports, politics, and also we might start getting into the relationship sector too, and entertainment, because I think we're going to start incorporating more and more going into season 2. All right. And also listen, like I said on my previous videos, if there's some things that you want to see, or there's some topics you want to talk about, please hit me up in the comment section. I'll be glad to cover those things for you. Okay. All right. Guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and log on off for tonight. If you enjoyed the content, please hit like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you can, please hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss any episodes every time I come on to YouTube. Okay? I, again, will be back on August the 4th. We're going to start up the new chapter for season 2. Again, thank you to all my subscribers, everybody who's joined this channel for season 1. We are going to keep the momentum going into season 2. And more, this channel is really going to grow tremendously. Okay? Thank you again for all the support. I will see everybody back on August the 4th, 8 p.m. on Monday. All right? Everybody take care and enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. Bye-bye.